Hello, my name is Kristen, and I am calling this the Crazy Knitter Studio podcast. Today is Friday, June 26, 2015, and this is episode number one. I'm calling it And So It Begins. So, yes, this is another knitting podcast. I have been wanting to do one for 2 or 3 years now and just have never gotten the guts up to do it. So, I have decided, you know what, just go for it. I might not be able to do fancy editing at this time, but I can just get this up and out there and hopefully where people can watch it. So, again, my name is Kristen. I am 39 years old. I live in suburban Detroit with my husband. We've been married almost 12 years, together almost 16. And our son, little man, he is almost 7. He'll be 7 in September. And he is obviously the light of our lives. And I work full time outside of the house for a company that does tuition reimbursement and training administration for other companies. I work on a help desk, so this major introvert here talks on the phone about 5.5 hours a day to people. So I'm pretty lucky. Our people are fairly decent. I've never been cussed at, called names. I see they're snappish. They're annoyed, but they're not downright mean or rude. I've heard horror stories of other people who work help desks, and we're pretty lucky. So it's a job. It pays the bills, keeps the lights on, but it's definitely not what I dreamt of when I was a kid. So, but it's flexible, it's close to home, and it works. So I won't be talking much about it because honestly, my job's pretty boring, so nobody needs to hear about it. So I have been knitting for about 10 years now. I'm a pretty, eh, not adventurous knitter. Size garment a few years ago for the, whatever they're called, Ravelynix games. I think it was 2010. I made a vest. Never wore it. Ended up ripping it out so I could use the yarn for something else. But I've made shawls, socks. I like dishcloths. Made things for my son like toys. He likes tube socks. Made him a sweater. So, but I'm pretty easygoing. I'm pretty boring when it comes to my knitting, which I probably shouldn't say, but it's the truth. So that's it about me. Looking down at my notes. So I don't really do any other crafts. I I want to get into sewing, but I don't really have anywhere to dedicate to putting up a sewing machine, and I don't know if I'm really want to have to worry about getting it out, putting it back, getting it out, putting it back. I do want to learn how to crochet. It's just never taken the time to do it. Um, but I also want to learn how to cross stitch, and I'll show you something that I got um, here to help me with that. But I'm interested in other things like jewelry making and soap making, but like everyone else out there, there's way too much to do and not enough time to do it in. So knitting has just been my constant for the last 10 years. So on to how I am theming this podcast. I am a huge sports fan. I love sports. Football is my favorite. I love hockey. I love basketball. College basketball. I'm not really into the NBA. I like baseball live, but I have a hard time watching it on TV. It's kind of boring. But football is definitely my favorite. So I am a huge fan of our local teams, the Detroit Red Wings and the Detroit Tigers, or the Tigres as I like to call them, and our poor lonely Detroit Lions. And I am also a huge Michigan State Spartan fan. I went to Michigan State, graduated in 2003, come from a long line of Spartans. So go green, go white. And so my segments are going to be sports themed. So I'm going to be calling the week in review, and I guess I can consider what I just went through my introduction as the presser or press conference, but I like presser. So next up is going to be touchdown. Those are going to be my finished objects. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to show you. I finished about 14 hats for the Remembering Remy Preemie Hat Knit Along through the Moms with Yarn podcast group, but they've already gone off to the NICU at our local hospital, so that's the only thing I've really finished in the last couple months. So I'll put a link in the show notes to my project page so you can see them. But that's all I've really finished. So next up, I'm calling these first downs, and these are my whips. So the first one is the Spider-Man blanket by Ann M. And my son is really into Spider-Man, like obsessed with Spider-Man. So here is a picture of the blanket. I'm using size 8 needles, and the yarn is Red Heart Super Saver. This is for a almost 7-year-old boy, so Red Heart Super Saver in royal and cherry red, and then Karen Simply Soft in black. So here's where I am. It's kind of hard to see. It's kind of bunched up on the needles, and I'm having a hard time knowing which way to go, but it comes out. It's knitting around, and then you will crochet. I will be learning to crochet to finish this, the webbing on when you're done knitting. And I actually was at Joann's earlier today, and I looked, and they had some cute Spider-Man fabric, so I'm going to take the little man to Joann's when this is done and have him pick out the Spider-Man fabric he wants, and I'll put that on the back. Again, that will be another adventure because I don't really sew, and I've never done that. Might have to get my friend Lynn, who's quite the seamstress, to help me with that one. So that's project whip touchdown, first down, number 1. Whip or first down number 2 is what I'm calling my bumpy road shawl, and it's by me. I'm working on designing this, so here it is. It's a stockinette triangle-shaped linen stitch shawl. I'm calling it Bumpy Road because we've had a rough couple of years. Nothing major. Nobody's died or lost their job. We haven't got kicked out of our house or anything like that. But, you know, we've just had some issues going on with family, and it's been a bumpy road. So the linen stitch reminds me of the bumpy road, and then I'm calling the eyelets, I'm calling those the pothole section. And if you live in Michigan, you know about potholes. So, but it's made out of Fibra Natura Yummy in the ever descriptive color 41354. I love color numbers. But it's different greens, dark. It's not really coming out very well in this light, but it doesn't surprise me. Dark green, light green. It's very pretty. I like it. It's nice yarn to work with, and I've ripped it out quite a few times, and it's held up pretty well to it, so that's good. Alrighty, moving on. Number 3. I have not worked on these because I've been concentrating on the Spider-Man blanket because little man is asking when it's going to be done. So these are my artichoke socks, calling them blue artichokes. And the pattern is Artichoke Socks by Megan Humphrey. I have one done. This is the first one. And then here is the second one. I just started the heel on it. So this yarn is Sheep Dreamery Allure, and the color is Aquitaine. I'm thinking it's Aquitaine, and it's a pretty aqua color. Not normal color for me. I'm a purple girl, but I like it. And the pattern's pretty good. It's pretty easy, but I'm just starting the heel on this, like I said, and I haven't worked on them in a while, but they're there. And my fourth and final first down whip is what I call my nerd gan. I started this with the now defunct Knit Nerd podcast 2 years ago. It's a Afghan. It's the Mystery Afghan Knit Along by Bernat, however you want to say it. And I'm doing it out of Karen Simply Soft in bone, chocolate, and autumn red. So I finished all the squares in bone and chocolate, and now I'm finishing up autumn red. So this is the 5th square. It's cables and they're lace. It's pretty easy pattern to memorize. I have 4 more in the red to do, and then I get to try and block them or kill them as you do with acrylic. And so all together, which again, I'm not looking forward to, but it's what you have to do when you make things in pieces. So those are all my first downs, my whips that have on the needles. Not really working on all of them, but they're there. So next up would be turnovers. And that would be knitting mistakes, or as the Knitmore girls call it, when knitting attacks. And thankfully I've not had any turnovers lately, so that's good. So now we have training camp, and I'm calling these my future projects. So I have been contemplating starting an Etsy store, just because I knit a lot, and I know people talk about selling their knitting, and I'm not going to get into that debate, but I knit a lot. I enjoy it, but I don't need a lot of this stuff, and I don't have very many people in my life who are knit-worthy. My husband and my son, but my husband and my son don't want a shawl or a bag. Um, I do knit some for charity, do hats and things and scarves for homeless shelters and stuff, but again, you know, if I want to make something fancy, if I can sell it, and I'm going to knit it anyway. I'm definitely a process knitter. I knit to knit. So if I'm going to knit it anyway, I might as well make a little money off of it, whether I'm really truly getting what I put into it or not. That's how I look at it. Other people are probably yelling at me right now, but that's how I view it. So I have a few things that I have finished to put in. I want to wait till I have quite a bit to start it. So I am going to be knitting. This is called the Girlfriend Market Bag, and it's GRRL, not GIRL. It's by Laura Spradlin. So here's the pattern. You can't really see it. It's a really cute little knit market bag. So I have some sugar and cream that I'm going to use to make that. And then I also have this pattern called, sorry, I'm getting over a cold, Knit One, Purl One by Little Theorem. All right, sorry about that. Like I said, I'm getting over a cold and I had a coughing fit, and so I had to stop. I'm sure you didn't want to hear that, and hopefully I can figure out how to splice these together. Otherwise, it might be 2 uploads going up on YouTube. We'll see. So anyway, I'm going to make Knit One, Purl One by Little Theorem. They're cute little bowls. I've made them before. Here's the little picture. So it's made out of ribbon yarn, and they're really cute, quick and easy. So I have some Lion Brand Incredible that I plan on using to make those out of. So that's also coming up. All right, moving on. Onward and upward, as my mom would have said. Concessions. This is going to be purchases. And I'll be honest with you, don't expect to see this very often. I just don't buy stuff. I always manage to talk myself out of it. I feel guilty. I don't like spending money on myself. I don't like spending money needlessly. So I don't buy a lot of yarn. I love indie dyed yarn. I think it's totally worth the money. I just have a hard time, for me, justifying buying it. So if I do buy stuff, it's going to be from Joann's, which you're going to see today. But, yeah, don't expect a lot of fancy stuff from me. Sorry. It's just not my style. So today is not only the podcast birthday, it's mine. I'm 39 today. I'm having a problem with this. It's a little too close to 40 for me. I actually decided I'm not having a birthday next year. I'm just going to have the first anniversary, my 39th birthday, and we'll leave it at that. So I went out to breakfast. That's why I'm recording during the middle of a Friday afternoon, is because I actually took the day off of work. It's been a stressful couple weeks, and I needed the time. So I took myself out to breakfast, and then came home and took a nap. And then I went out. I went to Joann's. I went to the dollar store, and went and got lunch. So I went to Joann's and bought a couple things. So I bought some sugar and cream yarn to make the girlfriend bag. So first up, this is Sunshine. Cute little bright yellow. This one is Hot Blue. And then this one, which is not a color I would ever pick, but like I said, these are going to go up in Nancy's store probably. So, Hot Green. That is, it's green. I don't like this kind of green, but it's cute. It'll make a cute little bag. So, I bought these thinking like fun, summery kind of colors for the bag. Take them to the beach. So, I bought that. And then like I said earlier, I want to learn how to cross stitch. There's a Star Wars, I think it's pumpkin frosted stitchery. Not sure, but I've seen it on Etsy. It's cute Star Wars cross stitch, and I want it. But I don't know how to cross stitch. So, and I'm not going to start with that because yeah, I'll just get discouraged. So I bought this, and it's aimed towards young girls, but whatever. It's my first stitch, and it's a cute little owl pattern. They had a turtle, they had a heart, and then they had one that's a girl's rule. I almost got that one, but I always tell my son that girl's rule, boys rule. So this will be comes with the frame, the cloth, the needle, the floss, and the instructions in a chart. So we'll see how this goes. I don't have a lot of faith. I would hope if it's aimed for a kid, I can figure it out, but you never know. So, like I said, I did some preemie hats for Remembering Remy with the Moms with Yarn group, and I won a prize. So, I always like prizes. Prizes are fun. So, I got this cute little Errand Lane. It's Pattern Keeper. So it opens up. It's got my Spider-Man blanket pattern in it right now. It's really cute. Cute little fabric. Nice. Been carrying that around with my blanket. And then I got this, which is from Super Duper Sock Club yarn from the Cookie A Sock Club. I think it was 2012. Yeah, 2012. It's from Green Mountain Spinnery, and the color is called Sarsaparilla. So it's a greeny brownie. It's more brown than it's showing here. But I don't know. It's 400 yards. Maybe a shawl of some kind. Let's see. It's gonna go sit in my stash for a while, marinate. I don't have a big stash, but as you probably figured. So that's all my concessions. So next up is going to be what I call the film room. So this is going to be where I talk about books I'm reading, things I'm watching, that type of thing. So TV-wise, I'm like a month behind, more than a month behind on TV shows. I'm watching things from the beginning of May. I just don't have a lot of time. I watch way too much. What are you gonna do? So our DVR is almost full. I need to start watching stuff. So last night I just watched the season finale of Blue Bloods. So I'm watching season finales now. That's about all I'm watching. I'm watching a lot of NFL Network. They have their top tens and shows and football life where they highlight a different player or whatever. I watch a lot of that. And Sports Center. Again, Sports Center. I always say I'm the dude, my husband's the girl. He hates it, but I watch sports. He shops. I hate shopping. I'm the dude. He's the girl. He's the fashionista in our family. He's turning my son into one. It's quite scary. But I love him anyway. So, moving on. Reading. I love to read. Reading is my first love. Been a reader, voracious since I was a little kid. And it kind of ebbs and flows. I find that I read more in the summer, which I don't know why. You would think it would be more in the winter when you're holed up this is Michigan, so it's cold, and I don't do cold very well. So, but I read a lot more in the summer. So I've been reading a lot in the last month or so. April, I only read one book. Didn't do very well. I went away for 5 days, 4.5. My sister and I and our 8 girl cousins, because there's 16 grandkids on my dad's side of the family, but the 10 girls all got together in Myrtle Beach for a long weekend. It was really nice, but I didn't even read. I knit some. I knit on my preemie hats, but I didn't read a page while we were there, and that's very strange for me. But May and June have made up for it. So I just finished yesterday The Girl on the Train by Paul Hawkins. And it was very good. I liked it. It was a good mystery. I kind of figured it out about 3/4 of the way through, but I usually figure out mysteries. I've read so many of them, it's kind of, yeah, I see the clues coming. But it was good. It's been compared to Gone Girl. I don't think it was as good as Gone Girl because Gone Girl shocked me. I didn't see that one coming, and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but when I finished it, I wanted to throw the book across the room because I was so angry. So I haven't seen the movie yet, but it was a very good book. I really enjoyed it. So, and now I took that one back to the library this morning, so I don't have that one to show you. But I have my current, or I had it. I don't know what happened to it. It's buried in yarn and stuff over here somewhere. Okay, here it is. Now I'm reading, it's called The Wicked Girls by Alex Marwood. And it's another mystery. I'll just kind of read it. It says, on a fateful summer morning in 1986, two 11-year-old girls meet for the first time. By the end of the day, they will both be charged with murder. 25 years later, journalist Kirstie Lindsay is reporting on a series of sickening attacks on young female tourists in a seaside vacation town when her investigation leads her to interview carnival cleaner Amber Gordon. For Kirstie and Amber, it's the first time they've seen each other since that dark day so many years ago. Now, with new, vastly different lives and unknowing families to protect, will they really be able to keep their wicked secret? So, I'm only 2 chapters in, but so far so good. Seems interesting. I like mysteries. So. And I've noticed, I was thinking about this last night when I started this, the last 4, 5 books I've read, all taken place in England or Ireland. Kind of weird, but must be in kick. And my next book I'm going to read after this one is in England because it's a Philippa Gregory book about the Cousins War. It's the 6th book in that series, so, but we'll get there when we get there. But apparently I'm on a English Ireland kick lately. Oh well. Alrighty, so now we are at the post game, which is going to be the wrap up. So my plan is right now to upload this to YouTube. One day it might get on iTunes. I know I prefer iTunes. I really don't like YouTube, but I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So my plan is every 2 weeks. I don't knit very much. I don't get a lot of knitting time, so, and I don't buy a lot, like I told you, so I don't want to bore everybody. So right now the plan is every 2 weeks I will upload and sit and chat at you and see how it goes. So where you can find me, I am on Ravelry, Crazy Knitting Fool. I'm on Twitter as Crazy Knit Fool, but Twitter's mostly just my Instagram feed. I do put a quote on there every day. I try to. Like, I have a book of quotes that I found that, I find inspirational or fun or whatever. So I put one on Twitter every morning. Sometimes on the weekends it's the afternoon before I do it. But I try to. So that's Crazy Knit Fool on Twitter. On Instagram, I'm Kristen McCain, and it's Kristyn McCain. And the blog for the podcast is going to be crazyknitterstudio.blogspot.com. And then the email address is going to be crazyknitterstudio@gmail.com. So you can always contact me. And I'm going to start a Ravelry group. I haven't done that yet. I didn't want to do it until I actually got this uploaded, so I had something to link in the group. But I think that's going to be crazyknitterstudio.com. So here's my little, this was one of my purchases at the dollar store today. I love the dollar store. I love office supplies and stuff, so I'm a nerd. I admit it. But I liked it. It had cute little butterflies on it. So this is my show notebook. So, lastly, I'm going to do a contest because I am not above bribing people to watch this. So, my plan is to keep it open for a month. Um, so, today's June 26th, so we'll do it, I guess, through July 31st. And we'll do a $10 or pattern or patterns up to $10 on Ravelry. Have to be giftable. Um, and I guess just leave me a comment on the blog, on the group. Tell me what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Try to be nice. I'm a very sensitive person. Don't make me cry. I will cry if you're mean. not trying not trying to elicit sympathy, but I'm very sensitive. I take things very personally. So constructive criticism is welcome, but don't just say you suck and that's all. Although if you say you suck and I choose your random number generator, I'm not going to give you a prize anyway. But just what you like to see in podcasts, what bothers you about podcasts. We all have different things. I know some people just want to see knitting. If you just want to see knitting, this probably is not going to be the podcast for you. I like looking into people's lives. I'm kind of nosy. I'm one of those people who, when you drive through neighborhoods at night and people have their blinds open, I try to see in their windows. I just find people fascinating. I'm an introvert and I don't like being around them very much, but I find them fascinating. So just tell me what you want to see, what you don't want to see. If you have any questions for me that are not too personal, I'll answer them. So, and I'll do a random number generator. Like I said, you can leave a comment on the blog or on the Ravelry group, and I'm just going to I'll just number everybody and do an Excel spreadsheet, bring out the nerd in me, and do a random number generator. And we'll do, like I said, a pattern or patterns up to $10 on Ravelry. So, that's about it. So, I don't have a fancy, haven't thought of one yet, fancy send off. Later, Gator. Alright, so that's it for now. I made it through it. Hopefully you like it. If not, I'm sorry. You can move on. Hopefully it'll get better. It's like anything else, it takes practice, right? So I will talk to you all in 2 weeks. So see you then. Bye bye.